Hello. Today you're going to learn the evolution of NASCAR. My specific purpose today is to inform you guys about the sport of NASCAR. How many members of you of the audience are NASCAR fans? Have you ever had a dream about growing up to be a NASCAR fan? Well, NASCAR is the main governing body for stock car racing in the United States of America, according to CNN. The act of cars trying to outrun each other wasn't always a multi-million-dollar sport. It was inspired by rather dubious beginnings. How and why race cars became part of American life goes back to the early days of the Prohibition and moonshine. According to A Brief History of NASCAR, from moonshine runners to Dale Earnhardt Jr. NASCAR is a sport that has evolved from bootleggers smuggling alcohol to customers all the way to what is now known as the fast stock car racing on the high banks of racetracks. With my deep love for the sport of NASCAR, I feel that I have the understanding of the sport and would like to pass it on to you, the audience, about the information of NASCAR, of racing, and the drivers. By understanding the sport, you can now know the origin of NASCAR and might spark an interest in NASCAR by the end of this speech. Today you'll be informed about the origins of stock car racing in the United States of America, the start of NASCAR, and modern day NASCAR. The first part of the speech we'll go over is the origins of stock car racing in the United States of America. It is important to understand where NASCAR derived from and the key elements. According to the website of the Guardian Liberty Voice, NASCAR History Moonshine Prohibition, it all began with the Prohibition, which made it illegal to store, manage, and transport alcohol. People began storing alcohol under the vehicles to transport to customers, knowing that it was illegal to have alcohol in any residence of a vehicle or a household. People began gathering cars that had stiff suspensions to hide the moonshine to make these deliveries to the customers. They take vehicles like the Ford Model T, the Ford V8, the Dodge Coronet, and the Ford Custom 500 apparently to NASCAR. This led people to begin racing each other to customers' house to deliver moonshine, people who would later become NASCAR drivers. The people who were originally moonshine runners or bootleggers were names such as Junior Johnson, Benny Parsons, and Irwin Baker. Those are just a few names that became big out of the business of moonshine. Now, the next topic we're going to is the start of NASCAR. NASCAR started with a man, a track, and a dream. According to CNN, it was Bill France Sr. who began forming a series of drivers who bootlegged to race on a track on February 21st, 1948. Daytona Beach would be the first track that was built for NASCAR. The sport NASCAR, which stands for National Automotive Stock Car Association of Racing. The track was 4.2 miles in length, and it was on a sandy beach surface on the east coast of Florida. Now my last topic that I'm going to get into is modern day NASCAR, where NASCAR is at now. Modern day NASCAR has evolved into mini-series, bigger and faster tracks, and more teams along with more drivers. The top three series in NASCAR are the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and the NASCAR Camper World Truck Series. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is the top level of the sport. Some tracks to name are Talladega Superspeedway, Bristol Motor Speedway, and Atlanta Motor Speedway. Talladega being the biggest track in NASCAR at 2.66 miles, according to NASCAR.com. Current race teams in NASCAR, according to NASCAR.com, is Hendrick Motorsports, Roush Fenway, and Joe Gibbs Racing. Drivers of current day are Jeff Gordon, six-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Jimmy Johnson, and Carl Edwards. The visual aids I have for you today is a NASCAR Sprint Cup race car from 2009 and a NASCAR Winston Cup car from 1973. This is a 3D model to show you what the race cars look like from the past time to modern day. As you can tell, there are some slight differences, but all relate back to the standardized stock car. Just to name a few facts, there are currently 75 million NASCAR fans, according to CNN. and some advertising that NASCAR uses is primarily around alcohol products like Bud Light, Coors Light, and Budweiser, according to NASCAR.com. Some series name sponsors like Sprint Cup, Nationwide, and Camping World are the key title names for the actual series. And a fun fact to know is the prize money. The NASCAR driver's prize money is typically between $100,000 to $5 million, depending on sponsorship and team agreements, according to Payscale.com. In conclusion, NASCAR possesses a magnificent history, starting from a mere stock car racing event to one of the most respectable sports in the history of America. NASCAR is only growing from this point on, and developing and changes what the organization underwent make it a thrilling sport, attracting a large fan base and including a lot of participators. New drivers, new tracks, new teams, and new sponsors make this sport grow. With it, it will continue to grow as long as those elements are in play at all times. Thank you for attending my speech today. I hope you have a wonderful night.